I think this could possibly be the most in-depth club fitting you've ever seen. Let's do it, and let's do it now. Hi everyone, James Robinson here. If you're new to the channel and this is your very first time watching my content, first of all, welcome to the channel. Second of all, please make sure you do consider hitting that subscribe button before you leave. That way you won't miss any of the great golf related content that I bring to you guys every single day. Brad, get yourself in here, mate. Today guys, we are fitting, and by we, I mean probably one of the smartest golf brains on the planet is fitting Brad for a new set of irons. So everyone meet Brad. Brad Cox, how are we doing?
Not bad, thank you. How are you?
Good stuff. So Brad's playing Euro Pro this year. Good player, but we haven't quite got the iron set required.
Right. Yeah.
So we're here, guys, with Golf Catcher, and they're your sponsor for the year, Brad. So how excited are you to work with those?
That's brilliant. I can't believe I was lucky enough to come on board with Golf
Looking
Catcher.
over there because the boys are over there. But
they've helped me so much already, and I can't wait to see what they're going to be able to do in the next 5 to 10 years, let alone next year. It's
absolutely. Get ahead. I like it. I like it a lot. And we also have Sinjin. How are you doing, Sinjin?
Very well, thanks.
Are you well? Good to see you.
Very well, thanks.
So we were here yesterday, Sinjin. We spent the day with you, and to be honest, we learnt a lot.
I hope so.
We learnt a lot. You learnt a lot. I learnt a lot.
Loads.
And we were going to get some content from yesterday, but I was too busy kind of taking it all in. So we're going to do it today. So you're going to fit Brad for a new set of clubs.
Yeah.
And to be honest, I think it could well be the most in-depth club review. No. And I think it could well be the most in-depth club fitting that these people have ever seen. Because some of the things you were talking to us about yesterday were very, 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 very in-depth, which is brilliant.
Yeah, well, like I said to you, the difference between club fitting and club fitting is club fitting.
So also guys, as well, after this, make sure you do stay tuned because we have a video coming where Sinjin is going to build Brad's irons. Yeah. And that's even more in-depth than the club fitting. So if you do like golf and you're a bit of a golf perv, like Brad over here, then make sure you stay tuned.
So today we've got TP5Xs. We could be fitting TaylorMade, so matching ball. Obviously you know TP5s are one of the better known balls on the tour. Some exciting stuff will come out. We'll build you a set of irons that are not normally available even from TaylorMade directly off the shelf, or they that are TaylorMade off the shelf. Yeah? Yep. So it's almost a rebuild. So let's begin. So what we've got today is we're going to start off with X-Flex. We're going to start off with light 105 grams DGs. We're going into the blades. This is what we're looking for. It's 1 degree upright, more or less your height. They are a bit hard. By the time we finish building whatever shaft we choose to put in here, it will not feel the same as this. As you learned yesterday, there's some science behind it.
A lot of science behind it.
Let's hit a couple of balls. I've tagged this with TrackMan so we can keep a monitor of every single shaft in the head. Yeah, so that we can then develop a profile, what you can unload, what you can't unload. Now, people are probably hearing the word unload. Well, you have to unload a shaft. It's spring loaded in terms of the metal can spring forward and back. So you need to be able to unload the shaft into the ball. If you can't unload it, it's too stiff. And if it overloads, in other words, it's loaded to the back and it beats you to the ball, it's too soft again. So we get a lot of spin and we just don't get any smash factor. So as you heard yesterday, I'm a great believer in the smash factor being relatively high for every iron. So some people tell me that it's not achievable. As you saw yesterday, it's very achievable to get high-end smash factor. And my high-end smash factor and the so-called medium of where the norm would be is two different worlds. So today after we build them, you'll see again the smash factor exceptionally high for all the irons. Right, so let's get it.
So Sinjin, I should probably say as well, so we spent the day with Brad yesterday, so you are aware a little bit of his characteristics, of his game, and of potentially what clubs he was using. And the clubs he was using, because it's very, very important when you go for a fitting, Sinjin, that you do bring your own clubs, isn't it? And we can kind of see...
Yeah, we know that these shafts were, and these heads, sorry about the ferrule, it wasn't my job. But these irons and these shafts came from a secondary person. They don't fit They're not designed for Brad in any shape, way or form.
Yeah.
So we know that after yesterday's session that these irons belong to someone else and they need to go back to that person. They were originally designed for that person, or fitted for that person and not for Brad. So it's like wearing a pair of shoes that are 2 sizes too small.
Yeah.
So you're trying to play golf in a pair of shoes too small, you're not going to last very long.
Absolutely not.
So hence we're going through this in-depth fitting today. Please note it's not your regular fitting. You'll see a lot of stuff during the course of this video that we do that is not normal or norm. So stay tuned.
I'm just looking forward to the samurai sword talk, Sinjin, but we'll save that for later. What club is that, Brad? I knew I didn't like you, so there's always something. So which club face is this, Brad? Is this something you've hit before?
I've never hit this before.
So this is the TaylorMade, it's the P730, isn't it, the blade?
What we've got now is we're going to the opposite spectrum, because we load profile. So by load profiling, we always go from light to heavy, and then we profile in the middle to see if DGs are the shaft for you or not for you.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yep. Thank you.
So this is a 120 gram X Flex.
So just for people at home, Sinjin, what do we mean by weight profiling? What?
Okay, so profiling means that a shaft can be bent in multiple ways, but how it recoils back to impact that is important. So if you've got a too light a shaft with over mass in the head, it bends the shaft before you get to impact.
Yeah.
Now if you watch tour players, they tend to have the shaft relatively very straight in a straight line. So if I just get a tour stick, so that for the guys who don't understand this, if you have a video of yourself and you find that the shaft on the way down is bending too quickly that way.
So the centrifugal forces.
Yeah. So the mass then at the bottom is heavier than the shaft can actually control. So please note that it's not swing speed orientated, it's load. How much load you bend the shaft.
Yeah.
So some guys can pull and bend, some guys can take a heavier shaft and just keep it straight all the way through the swing.
Okay.
But it doesn't need to say that that's the fastest you can move. You need to have a balance between how fast you can move and how much bend there is. But what we don't want is at the bottom of this, that your hands are up here, but the shaft is in that position.
Yeah.
And we don't want this position either. Now it's called overlag.
Yeah.
So the shaft is bent twice by the time it gets to the bottom.
Yeah.
So we don't want this kind of motion.
Okay, so you're matching it to the release pattern basically, that kind of...
That's correct.
Perfect.
So we need to make sure that when you get down here, you've unloaded maximum energy through the shaft, through the head, through the ball.
Like a catapult.
Yeah. Or like a samurai sword. I'm not the greatest lover of this particular shaft because I know that it's heavier, and I can see that in your swing you're struggling with it because you're trying to pull and it's not wanting to go.
Yeah.
So it's like trying to swing an overweighted broomstick. That's why we get this. So at the bottom the hands just give up and they just go into like a mini flip. So we get an over and above normal launch angle for a 7-iron for me. The attack angle is just very weak. It's only 2 degrees down on it. Yeah. And we're getting no pressure on the ball, so the smash factor is exceptionally low for me. I don't like it very much. If you compare it to the lightweight shaft, which wasn't perfect either, by no means. We're still getting this over rainbow style shape, and you've got blades. So even that shape doesn't warrant blades. You know that shape is just very wrong. Yeah. Okay, so let's just move on. We're coming more and more into that realm where, like I said to you, you've got to have a pure balance between what you're doing with not you personally. Your swing is your swing. Your swing DNA is you. The way your coach has been coaching you, but you still need a shaft that can do the job. and obviously these DGs aren't doing any job.
What I like about that, Sinjin, is you've tried that shaft knowing that it probably wasn't going to work.
Yeah.
So you're just kind of covering every base there.
Well, what you're wanting to do is, what works for me and what can work for you doesn't necessarily mean it's going to work for the next. So
Yeah.
when you're going to your mates and your mates have suddenly got a new set of irons with an exotic shaft or whatever it may be, and they say to you, well, let's try this. Well, you're already starting on the wrong foot. If you equate it to another world, if you are a non-golfer and you're an archer, an archer has to have the bow tension so that it can actually pull it. So they have tensioning bars that you can actually get to the full pull.
Yeah.
So when you take a set of irons that aren't fitted by no means, you're not getting the full reach.
Yeah.
You're somewhere in the reach. But what happens is you don't hit it or you don't arrow it as far as normal.
Yeah.
You don't shoot the arrow as far as its optimal length.
Yeah.
But because you can't get the full pull on the bow. So here we know that he's getting full acceleration because his acceleration on his clubs are around 90 miles per hour with the 7-iron, but we just can't get the motion.
Yeah.
So we're getting a lot of stopping power. People look at it and go, yeah, but you see the ball is slowing down, it's landing. Well, it's landing because it's got a steeper ascending. So it started higher and it's come down before the actual window.
Yeah.
And you can see it's relatively stopped up. But if you then look at the actual numbers, well, he's around the correct number for spin. I always say 1,000 per number.
Yeah.
So 3-iron, 3,000, somewhere in that, plus or minus 500. 7-iron would be 7,000 plus or minus 500. That would be the norm for every fitter, whether you're on the tour truck or here or in Britain anyway. So those are the most important things. But you're going to see something else. Most guys would actually tell you, if they didn't have this picture up, and they're only seeing this motion, they would always tell you by the smash factor, well, that's pretty high. That's a high number. 135, 138, that's a good number when you're going for a fitting. Well, what's good for one fitter is not exactly optimal for another.
Yeah.
And like you heard yesterday, I'm a keen believer that 40 is my minimum.
Yeah, yeah.
So, I proved it yesterday that you can actually get a 150 smash factor with irons.
Yeah.
And that's contradictory to everyone else on the planet. But you saw it firsthand.
We did see it.
Let's go and build something else now. So we know that we want to go light. So we're going to go light in the sense of Project X 125 6.5.
Okay.
So it's not quite as heavy because it's got back feeling here, so it's a little bit softer in the back as opposed to up front. So hopefully this will bring down the spin. Again, we maintain the same head, same loft, and the same lie angle throughout the test, because that gets done later for the correct lie angle and loft, because we bend stuff here. So we've got a DG 105X, so it's much lighter. You can see we've got a 139 smash factor, but we've gone heavier and we've reduced the smash factor. So the ball ain't loading. So the next phase would be then to measure what the loads were on the shafts, because I have a load profiler, so I can measure the load that was currently used in that testing. So what I then would do then is, if he was sponsored by DG, they'll want him to use DGs. So we would then profile a set of shafts to find a higher equilibrium for him. So, but he's not sponsored by any one or other company.
So we have free reign.
We can do, we can search for the best that we can find on the market. So that he would then have the optimum progress. And people say to me, but smash factor is no warrant in a fitting. Well, I'll leave you to answer that question, because you saw it yesterday.
So interestingly, Brad, can you feel any differences in these shafts, or is it primarily on results for you?
The one before this one, I felt like I had to work harder to get that.
You didn't look comfortable with it, to be fair, when you were,
I felt like I had to work a lot harder to get it at impact in the right place. The first shaft was quite nice. Those both mishits as well.
And what we're saying about the smash factor, Sinjin?
So you can see suddenly the ball speed and has increased. Although his club head speed is 2 miles per hour lower, the smash factor has increased. I've still got a little bit of concern about the spin, because I want the spin to be maintained throughout the flight. I'm a little bit old school, so I work still in the round number department. I don't take into consideration whether the club has a modern day loft version or an olden day loft version. So there's modern lofts and there's olden day schools, and these irons are from the predecessor. In other words, they kept the original lofts the way they should have been. So tour players want to have some flight, but they also need penetration. So having stronger lofts, so this is an advice for you guys. If you go strong lofts, you've got to take care of spin rate, because it's no good telling me or telling your mate that you can hit your 5-iron 220 yards, but you're only flying it out there 2,000 revolutions of spin. Well, you've got excellent distance, but you've got nothing to hold it on the green. So if you go to a links golf course, it's just a nightmare to hold the ball on the green. It makes absolutely no sense. So spin is an inducer for controlling the distance for the iron based on the loft and the club. So, and if the shafts obviously are too hard for you as the person who is using them, you will come out with very low launch and also low spin, which makes no business.
Okay, so Sinjin, we have had a break. We are now back. Why? Sorry, I just nearly wiped out the chat with them, but we're okay. Why did we have the break?
Okay, so an important thing to notice in your fitting, it doesn't matter where you are in the world, if you're watching James's notes here, you'll pay attention to the fact that he'll agree with me, that when you go to a fitting and you've only got an hour slot, the fitter is wanting you to get in and get out as quick as possible. The difference is when you come to a tour division lab like we are, we don't have a time. We close the shop for you. So we
should probably say that there is a full shop through here, which you should all come and visit and spend loads of money, shouldn't they, Sinjin? Well, this is the Golfers Tune Performance Lab, is that right?
That's correct.
Yeah, I got that right first time. I'm very pleased with that. And you've closed the shop for the day for us.
Yeah, there's a reason for it, because no golfer can continuously swing at high peak effort all the time. So you start off through your warm-up. By the time you get to some sort of peak, or your peak, your personal peak, you're then on the way down. So if you keep hitting balls, you're not staying at optimum. You're just going to get down and down and down. So the shaft that could have been the best shaft for you could have been set too far back in your fitting. And suddenly you've gone through it because you're now weaker than when you started. And you can't tell me that you can hit balls at full thresh for over an hour. That just doesn't work.
10 minutes for me, Sinjin, and I'm done.
I know tour players who spend more than one day here getting fitted because they want to make sure that when they leave here that everything works absolutely the way it should be. So we go through a process of elimination, which is what we're doing now. Then we may even build a 7-iron or a club that is finished. We do then a check, and we might even find that it's still not at peak, and we have to strip everything and start again. But then we're stripping to make the next choice, which was already on the list. It's just, we don't do this blindfolded. There's an equation that we use, and it needs to fit exactly the way it should do for that person. And hence the break. The break is there, very important, that you can rehydrate, you can get your breath back, you can refocus on what you're working on, and just do the job. And once you do the job, we'll have another break, so it'll be more than one break today. That's a better flight, but no spin on. So just give you an example. This is a very good example here. So you go to the fitting, and the guy who's fitting you wants to get you out of the shop real quick, right? And you'll have a look at that there, and you'll say, that's the shaft.
This is still 7-iron, by the way.
This is still a 7-iron. And suddenly, you're going to go home thinking that you can pump out 203 yards, 290 carry, because you've suddenly just hit it through the window and you've gone, wow, I've got to do this every time. Eh? So suddenly you believe mentally that that's the perfect shaft for you. So you've forgotten everything else because you see the numbers down the back side here. And you think, oh, that's just me. That's if I can tell my friends I can hit it 203 yards, but then no one tells you, but that number there is a real problem.
Yep.
So this is where we went to before we had the break, that is a very, very realistic problem. It's not just a little problem, it's a realistic problem, because yes, you can hit it long, you can hit it far, you could probably hit it back in there where it's absolutely straight.
Yeah.
But it makes no sense building your set of irons based on this information.
No.
Because by the time you get to a 4-iron, this number will just drop the ball out of the sky, and you probably hit your 7-iron as long as you're hitting your 4-iron.
Which a lot of amateurs probably find.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You know, if you had that problem where you go, yeah, but my 7-iron goes 160,
Yeah.
but my 4-iron is only going 175. Well, there's the problem already. So that's the last one. So as you can see, this shaft again just proves over light, over bend doesn't work either. Yeah, because we've got an uncontrollable launch angle.
Another one on the scrap heap, Brad, there.
So
I think so.
we have a very uncontrollable launch angle, we have an uncontrollable flight, we have uncontrollable spin, and the smash factor is just rubbish. So I reckon that my next choice of shaft should go there where I want it.
Yeah?
Yeah.
So you've been playing with him.
Well, not really, I'm just, for the sake of your video. People, you haven't realised yet, yeah? He's still got to go through a driver fitting. He's still got to get a comprehensive putter fitting, which is not normally offered the way we do it.
Yeah. So what shaft's this, Sinjin?
So yeah, here we're going for a brutal.
Yeah.
We're going for a proper, genuine KBS tour.
Oof.
Yeah, a man shaft they call it. So that's a genuine KBS tour. Yeah. Titan here, I call it. So it's very heavy. It's actually a full 130 gram.
Oof. I won't be able to squat that, never mind, hit it.
Interesting. This was my old, near enough, I had it in the graphite finish. This was my old shaft. The seat tape was 130.
Yeah.
All the shafts we're currently using have nothing to do with his height.
No.
Because we're using standard length shafts. Because we do something very abnormal here, and that is we fit by impact after we build.
Okay.
So in other words, the shaft is uncut.
Yeah.
And then we start with the grip at 1 inch, and we have impact decals which you hit, and we see and we can measure left and right centers off the middle. And when we find the middle, we have a length, and then we cut. And when we regrip and we start the process of then cutting the rest of the set based on that length.
Yeah.
So we don't cut in the sense of ½ inch longer, 1 inch longer. We cut maybe even only 6 millimeters. So you might have +6.
Yeah.
Or you could even have +9.
So we're not working in inches, we're working in millimeters.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So we cut based on how accurately you hit and find the middle.
Yeah.
And then we find the absolute center, because that's what you're looking for with irons. People don't get mistaken here. It's not your driver.
Yeah.
Driver is for hitting it very far.
Yeah.
For how far you want to hit it, because based on your physique.
Yeah.
Right? But irons is, two things are very important with irons. Where it's going naturally needs to be at the pin, and two, the distance control. Can you maintain the same iron the same distance?
Yeah.
It's not about how far you can hit irons, it's how accurately you hit irons.
Like it. Just a full set of them, Brad, I think, please.
Swing speed is dropping, which will give me a bit of concern. So again, it marries up with the DG that we had, that wasn't too heavy. So we've gone down here, the ball speed is maintaining. You can see it in the smash factor. That is too low.
Yeah.
Although it's headed above and through
Yeah.
the magic window. If you know anything about TrackMan, they'll tell you that this is the magic threshold.
Yeah.
Good balance, yeah. Keep the balance, yeah. Don't try and thrash it. See what I mean? Your controlled motion. So this is one of my favorite choices, but it needs tinkering.
Mm-hmm.
Do you understand?
I understand.
So
what you're saying is people need to watch the video where we build the clubs.
yeah,
Yeah?
that's it. Stay tuned for part 2. So there's a bit of a trick that we use. We go everything in X flex, and then we'll go lower to an S flex, and then because of his swing speed is above 90, so we know that he's an S to an X plus.
Yeah.
So we're in that zone. There's no way he's going to need a regular shaft.
No.
Right, so we know that we need to find an equilibrium between X and S. I already know that by what I've seen.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, but you know, proof is in the pudding. And we're going to go to a S flex from them, and we're going to go light. We're going to go 105, which is roughly around a 115 shot.
Mm-hmm. Is there a particular reason for that, Sinjin, to go light?
The reason I've gone for KBS is because it's a more rigid shaft up front. Up front means down the bottom end, yeah. And it's slightly lighter because we've noticed that heavier shaft for him it does hard work. So
yeah.
If you've got 4 days behind you and a pro-am, that's 5 days of golf plus Tuesday's your practice round. You're buggered by the time you get to Sunday swinging your irons. You don't think that, but he's relatively fit. He goes to the gym, he's not some weakling. So I want a shaft that can complement him from day 1 to the last day. So if you think around 6 rounds of golf, if you take up all the balls that you hit on the range, would classify almost a round of golf.
Yeah.
So he needs to maintain peak performance for a much longer period of time. So obviously stamina, he needs to be stamina fit, obviously.
So you fit into his circumstances, not just his performance.
Because you got to remember, not everyone is six-pack built,
Mm-hmm.
A lot of you guys there are weekend golfers. Friday, Saturday, Sunday. Friday afternoon you're out. Saturday you're playing in some sort of tournament. Sunday you're out with the mates. So you've got 3 days behind you, but not everyone in the office is six-pack fit.
No.
So you've got to make sure that the shafts don't make you tired throughout your round of golf.
Mm-hmm.
So if you've got irons that are too heavy, they generally will make you get slower by the end of the round. So you don't think that because you're walking with your trolley, or you happen to be in Spain and you're in a buggy. That's a little bit different because you're maintaining energy by sitting, and you only have to move the club for 1 or 2 shots per hole, or 3 if you're very unlucky. Yeah. But the majority of us have to walk, and you're lugging your bag, so that's a mass that you're carrying. Then the irons are over heavy. So, and ladies take that into consideration too. Ladies sometimes believe that, or get dumped with a set of irons that don't really fit them at all. So you can imagine the problem they would have. If they go and buy, I don't want to name any brand names, but there are certain brand names that have beginner sets where the shafts are overly heavy. Because they believe that overly heavy shafts control your golf swing better. But it doesn't give you any benefits.
No.
It's just, it controls the swing plane better for you. You don't move the club around so much. So they build them slightly heavier, which is a disadvantage, really.
Okay. So guys, while we do take a quick break from hitting golf balls, or should I say while Brad takes a quick break from hitting golf balls, we're going to talk through exactly what shafts we've tried, exactly what they've done, and potentially, are we going to make a decision now?
No.
We're going to make a decision.
Go downstairs and see
That's part 2. You've got to stay tuned for part 2.
So if you go to the TV, yeah, we're going to start off here. So that was the very first shaft. It's DG105X.
Yep.
You can see it's launching a little bit high and falling out of the sky over here.
Yep.
So, and it's also a little bit wayward here. Can you see?
It's a little bit right, isn't it?
Yeah.
Dispersion, yep.
So it's not really optimal.
Yep.
Right, so now we're going to go to a shaft where I think we have a better opportunity.
Yep.
We have a much more solid form here.
Yep.
You can see it's much more orientated on launch angle, is much more consistent. The flight is more consistent. Yeah, it's coming up short. Please don't think that length is everything. Yeah.
Yeah.
It does come up a little bit short. We have an average smash factor there of 137, but that will improve by the way we build the shaft.
Stay tuned for part 2.
Yeah. Here again, you can see we have a variation of flight.
Yep.
You know, it's not quite in the box, but it's all over the show. And again, here we have a tendency for left, where if you go back here, we're much more straighter here, as opposed to we only have one outside the 5-yard zone.
Yep.
So there's the 5-yard line, there's the other 5-yard line, and we've only got one out of all of these that are, that are around 5. The rest are very, very straight.
Yep.
If you go back here to the first one, well, you've got 1, 2, 3 outside the 5-yard zone there. So, and only 2. So that's, but again, consistent, but it just, there are a couple there that I don't really like. Some of them are overspinning. Let's keep on going. So here we can definitely see that, we've got some hook tendency there. So we go here. There is just a shaft that doesn't work.
Yeah.
It's just no matter what you do, that shaft isn't playing any sort.
But amazingly, some people would end up with that shaft because of that one shot there that's gone 200 plus yards with the wrong fitter or the wrong team. So
if you just think, over distance, well, that just doesn't make any sense to anyone. And again, here we have a left tendency here, but not a consistent launch angle. So again, the shaft is overly high, so it accelerates very quick, gets to its maximum peak, and then falls out of the air.
Yeah.
So that again is not an optimal. But if you have a look here, they have a tendency for left and in the bottom side of the 5-yard zone. So it's pretty straight. You've got small draws moving along there. Let's go to another shaft here. Here again, very much better. But we have no consistency in flight, and that's also not good. Yeah. You can see when you don't have consistency in flight, they tend to fall out of the sky, and then if you get no spin, it tends to go the correct distance. So again, flight control, not optimum. And you're probably hearing the word flight control. Yeah. It's very important that when you're hitting irons, and you're hitting stock shot irons, because when you do a fitting, that's what you're working on, just the stock shot. Yeah. Your everyday swing is what you fit. Yeah. So your launch conditions are prime, and you need to make sure that they stay permanent. So let's go to another club or shaft that I thought would do very well, but it hasn't really. It's again very much all over the shop there. So if you go back, if you have a look at that compared to that,
totally different, isn't it?
It's massive difference.
Yeah.
So for me, this shaft here is the number one.
And is that this shaft here?
Yeah, that's an LZ now.
So the shaft we are going to go with for Brad is the Project X Loading Zone 6.5 125 gram. So guys, that is the end of part 1. That is a club fitting. So we are going to stay with the TaylorMade P730 head for Brad. Brad, how do you feel about the head to start with? Because you've been a fan of blades for a long time.
Yeah, never trusted to put it in my bag.
Yeah.
The head's amazing. I mean, it's probably the most solid head I've hit in my life, for sure.
And shaft-wise, Brad, that's the one.
This is the one.
So it's the Project X Loading Zone 6.5 125 gram.
Perfect.
So now
you got there, as you can see, it's given us the largest smash factor.
Yeah.
Out of all, that one was okay, but this is more stable. It's the one that we saw. It continued a very good launch condition control, and the balls are inside the 5-yard zone. I explained that yesterday, that we want all balls, irrespective of the distance that we're hitting, to try and cover this zone here.
Yep.
It's very important in the beginning of your fitting, because if you stray outside into this zone here, we have problems, because then the shaft is uncontrollable in direction. So we have distance control and we have dispersion control. And if you think about your average fairway is around 22 yards wide.
Yeah.
So you need to be able to at least find some sort of greenery. And I mean greenery is the short grass, for you guys who don't understand it and you live in the rough. Yeah, so the short grass is inside that 10-yard zone, because you have dog legs and you do have narrowings on the fairway.
So, Sinjin, that is the end of part 1. Brad, that is the end of part 1. So guys, thank you very much for allowing us to be a part of this. I know obviously filming a club fit can be a little bit nerve-wracking, but you're going to be playing on TV all the time anyway, aren't we now? So you need to get used to that. Guys, thank you so much for watching. Sinjin, thank you so much for your time. Really appreciate it. Brad, well done, mate.
Thank you
so you let you guys shake hands as well. So guys, make sure you stay tuned for part 2 with our very own. I'm going to christen you the mad scientist. Sinjin, how do you feel about that? You like that?
Professor.
The mad professor. Because this is where the exciting part really happens, when we get down in the workshop. And this isn't a standard club build. So you showed us a couple of things in the workshop yesterday, which, even as a kind of club builder, pro, fitter, jack of all trades, master of none, I haven't seen clubs be built like this even on tour vans. So it's really, really interesting. Guys, if you want to see it, make sure you do stay tuned. Huge thanks to the guys at Golf Catcher for getting us out here. We are just outside Frankfurt. Well, say just outside, we're 220 kilometres down the autobahn to get here, so we could be miles away from Frankfurt, for all I know. But guys, thank you massively. Make sure you do hit that subscribe button if you haven't already. If you are in the area, please make sure you do come and check out the Golfers Tune Performance Centre. Fantastic shop, fantastic knowledge, and just an all-round fantastic experience. Cheers, guys.
Thank you.
See you tomorrow.